Hello, my yarn lovers, my fiber artists, my crafty and creative people. I am recording this video for WIP Wednesday. That's right. So get your project, get your beverage, come on in and hang out with me. Say hello in the comment section and let me know what is your WIP today. You can say, hi, I'm from California and I'm crocheting a market bag, and let me know like what's in your cup. Right, it's in the evening. You know I prefer to work in the evening, so no coffee. I love my coffee, but no coffee this time of night. I'm just drinking some water. No wine till after YouTube, right? I think that's a good policy for me. So you know, if you don't knit or crochet, you're welcome to do whatever craft or whatever it is. If you sew, if you quilt, if you paint, maybe you're cleaning, maybe your WIP is you tonight and you're doing your crunches. It's okay. It's fine. Whatever. Anyways, I want to say this. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for choosing to come back, hang out, spend a little bit of your day with me. And thank you for your patience while I briefly introduce myself to anybody who might be new to my channel. Hi, my name's May. I love yarn, I love to knit and crochet. Those are my hobbies, and I also happen to have been born visually impaired. I am completely colorblind. I have been my whole life, and I believe that knitting and crochet are things that you can do tactily. You manipulate the yarn and the hook and the needles in your hand, so I believe you don't have to see to do this. So let's see. Oh, I also want to say something else. If you are a returning viewer, right, you often will hear my screen reader in the background. Like when I first start my video, you'll hear my screen reader talking, and and then at the end you'll hear it say pause, and sometimes it's really rude and it just starts talking in the middle of my video. It'll announce anything from the weather to a product recall, salmonella outbreak, random news stories, and I'm like, what are we even talking about, right? And sometimes it even announces personal information, and then I have to go in and try to cut that out. And being visually impaired, I do use the VN editing app, but I can't actually edit frame by frame visually. I don't have enough eyesight to do that, but I can go into the end of the clip, chop it off, right, and then put another piece together. So I've had to do that more than once recently, and so that might be what I have to do in the future is like do a clip and then pause and then put them together, and that's fine. But other than that, I don't have enough sight to go in and edit out like all my awkwardness, all my all my pauses, I'm looking for my project, I'm looking for this, right, when I'm doing my videos. When I'm showing you yarn, I'm always losing stuff, right? So anyways, my phone talks a lot because it's got a screen reader. That's how visually impaired people access the internet. We have a screen reader. I just use a Samsung Galaxy S23 like millions of other people. So tonight I'm trying something new. I'm wearing an earbud tonight so that I will hear my screen reader and you won't. Wow. I know. I don't know why it took me that long to do it. I don't know how it's going to work. But I'm telling you that because, as many of you may know, if you have an earbud in, sometimes you're like, am I too loud? Am I too quiet? Right? I don't know how the volume's going to come across. And then the other thing is that, like, my screen reader might say something to me, and so I might, like, react to it, right? And so if you see something like that where it looks like I heard something that you didn't hear, it's because my screen reader said something in my ear. Okay? Alrighty. I don't know how that's going to work, but I thought we'd try something different so we're not so rudely interrupted by the technology, right? So anyways, I am going to be knitting with you tonight. This is the Premier yarn. It's the Dotty yarn. It is in the colorway Strawberry Fields. Now, as somebody who's colorblind, I don't really know what Strawberry Fields is. I know it's a white background. Strawberry says to me it's probably a pink or a red, right? Probably some green. I do use the Google Gemini AI. Ask it what color stuff is. It says this is white with pink, green, and yellow. So I guess that shouldn't really surprise me. I've got it on 2 circular knitting needles. It's supposed to be like a child, like maybe a toddler dress. I don't know how that's going to work out. I'm not going to talk to you more about how I'm doing it, why I'm choosing to do it this way. I definitely did it a little bit different than what that pattern instruction said. But, we'll see if I'm successful at this project, then hey, I'll explain more to you of what I'm doing and why I chose to do it. And, oops, oh my goodness. I just got my toe caught in my yarn. Yeah, I'm not graceful. Grace, not my middle name at all. So, anyways, awkward, right? My life is full of awkward moments. So, I'm going to knit with you. You let me know what we're doing together. So, here in the United States, it's Wednesday, but, well, it's not Wednesday yet. I'm pre-recording this a little bit early. And you will see, as some of you, if you're sighted on my video, you'll be able to tell that I colored my hair, okay? When my hair gets so gray that even I can see that it's gray, then I know it's time to color my hair, right? So I colored it. It's supposed to be a brown red. I believe it comes out pretty red for the first, week or two. Then it calms down, I believe. So it's pretty red. But I'm still pre-recording this just, a little bit ahead of time. But because I have explained before on my videos, I am going to spend some time with my family, doing some vacation stuff with my family. Going to be out of town, doing family stuff. I'll just, for a couple of weeks, our schedule could be a little interrupted here. And so I still want to be able to put out some videos during that time. So I have pre-recorded some stuff. Like my Finish It Friday video for this week is already done because I do have a finished object that I want to post, and I just completed it. So I was like, well, do your Finish It Friday video, right? So you'll notice, if you can see, that my hair is still gray in that video, but I think there's only, I don't know, just a couple of pre-recorded videos where I'm still gonna have my gray hair, right? Yeah, and so anyway, so I am getting ready to, travel, but not yet. Just starting to think about it a little bit, starting to think about how I can maintain my channel, while, still respecting my family's time together, because I'm going to be hanging with the family, right? My mom, my dad, my sister, we're going to hang out together. So I want to respect them, respect their time together, not have a camera in their face all the time if they don't want that. So, but it is Father's Day, right? It was Father's Day on Sunday, so I'm late, but I don't usually have like a live chat video on Sunday. So, if I'm late, but if you are a father out there, happy Father's Day. Fathers are super important in this world. So grateful for mine. Let me know what you got. If you were a father, did you get something? Did your kids give you a gift? Did they come spend the day with you? Did you, even if you're not a father, did you get to see your dad for Father's Day? Did you do something special with him? I did not. My dad is 88. He'll be 89. So I'd love to see him, but he lives about 100 miles from me, and I don't drive, and so I can't just get in the car and go see my dad for Father's Day, right? And he is the best driver, believe it or not. At 88, my dad is the best driver in our family, and he also has the best eyesight of anybody in our family. Yeah, I don't drive legally. My sister and my mom have both had legal driver's licenses, but neither one of them really drive that much. So we all rely on an 88-year-old man to drive us pretty much. So, I don't want to make that road trip up here, just to come and see me. Plus, given that my family is getting together in just a couple of weeks, he is going to come up here and pick me up. And he's turning 89 on June 30th. And so I will be with my dad for his 89th birthday. And I think that's pretty special. You know, I think when your dad's turning 89, it's good to spend his birthday with him when you can, right? That's special. I know that every year with him at this point is a blessing. It truly is. I am well aware of that. I know that many people, you know, have lost your fathers out there before 88. So, you know, my condolences to you. I'm very sorry about that. And I know that I'm blessed, right? I am. If anybody, right, if you get to live to be 88, I hope I live to be 88. I hope I live to be 88. I hope I live to be as healthy as my dad is at 88. Um, so, you know, yeah. So I will be with him for his birthday. So we skipped Father's Day this year, but we did talk on the phone. He's not a real chattery person at all. He doesn't really talk on the phone that much, but he'll say hi to us. So, you know, we did visit on the phone, and we will be with him in just a few weeks for his birthday, and that's nice. But you know, he's a special guy to me. He really is. My dad did not know his own dad. His own father, he was born in China. If you don't know that, my dad's born in China. He's a Chinese immigrant. Um, and so his father died before he was like even 2. And so he didn't know his father. And he, you know, so he really didn't get to have that experience as a little boy. He didn't get to know what it was like to have a father. And so, you know, he didn't really know what he was doing, right? I mean, there's lots of parents out there that if you aren't raised with a father or, you know, really a parental figure out there, you might really not always know how to do it, right? Because some of that's modeling. Some of it's we do what we see, you know, what we learn around us. And so if we don't have that around us, it's harder to learn. Obviously, he could still learn from his mother, and he most certainly did. His mother worked, you know, in the rice paddies, but, you know, obviously, right, we can learn from somebody even if they're not our, you know, he could still learn from his mom, but he didn't have a father, and I think there is something special about that. So, so you know, and plus he was here in a foreign country to him, different language, different culture. So you know, he had a lot of just acclimated. There's a lot of cultural things he just didn't understand, and so I'll be honest with you, like when we were growing up, there were some differences, without a doubt, right? There were cultural things that my dad didn't get about America, and there were things that I couldn't possibly fathom at 13 about his life, right? You know, I'm 13 and I got my own bedroom and I got a phone in my bedroom and I had TV. It was black and white. I still had a black and white TV in the 90s. But I did. It was an old TV for a while. I did get a color TV. Not that it matters to me. I can't even see color. So it actually didn't matter to me, which my family knew that. So, you know, everybody else in the family had a color TV and I had a black and white one because they were like, you know, they can't see color anyway, right? So didn't actually matter to anybody that I had the old black and white TV in my room for a little while. But you know, I couldn't fathom, you know, the fact that when he was 13, he was stepping off the slow boat from China, right? And without knowing a word of English into Canada and starting a new life and, you know, having to work and support himself and all those kinds of things. So our lives were so different that, you know, we didn't understand each other very well. But he still was a really, really good father. He did his best, you know, he did his best, right? He worked very hard. You know, he made mistakes, but you know what? I think everybody does. Every parent does, right? Unfortunately, right? Every person does. I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes, and I think, whew, I wonder if I would have made those mistakes when I was a parent. I'm not a parent or a grandparent, so I don't, you know, have that opportunity to learn. But you know, so but he did work really, really hard. He worked very hard. And so he was gone a lot. He sometimes worked 2 jobs at a time, right? And so, you know, we didn't see him as much as we would have wanted. I didn't see either one of my parents as much as I would have wanted. They both worked a lot. They both sometimes worked 2 jobs at a time to support our family. So, but he did. He taught me, though, to have a really, really good work ethic. And I am just I'm forever grateful for that, right? My dad came here, and when he came to Canada, and he worked for like he went to school for like 6 months, but he was doing agricultural work in the morning before school and after school till dark, right? So so he did agricultural work, school, agricultural work, and he did that for only about 6 months for half of the school year. And then, he just thought, you know what, I'm just going to work, making money. It was made more sense to him at that time to just work and make money. And so he didn't ever learn to read or write, but he believed in hard work. He believed in working from the day that he got there. He got, to Canada and then the United States. And so he's worked hard his whole life. And he really taught me that. He taught me that, you have to have, both my parents did, for sure. Both my parents felt that was really important, right? That they provide for their children financially. That was important to both my parents. That they both work, that they both make sure that the bills were paid, that we have food, and they both those were the things. My parents are so different, right? Because of the cultural differences, because of where they came from. My mom's Caucasian. She's Norwegian and English. She's from rural North Dakota, right? So she's Christian, he's Buddhist. So they really had so many differences. But they both believed in hard work. They both believed that you get up and you go to work every day and you support yourself. And so that's something that I'm super, super grateful for. That when you're gonna do something, you go for it, and you put what you got into it. Even when it's hard, right? You press through the hard stuff. Even when you don't feel like it, you do it anyways. And so, but I think it's good, because I think there's a lot of people that might have thought that a disabled child, right, somebody who's visually impaired, could have got a pass in life to not have the same expectations as everybody else. And because both my parents, that wasn't acceptable to either one of them. Neither one of my parents were going to give me a pass on anything in life because I was visually impaired. And my dad didn't know what to think for me because of my visual impairment. Because, visual impairments are so different in China. There's no future for blind people in China. Blind people in China have like a bamboo pole, and they're beggars a lot. They beg on the streets. And they aren't even really allowed to go to school, you know, and so they aren't seen as somebody that's valuable to educate for the government, right? They don't see us as having. Nowadays, blind people, some people are allowed to go into massage, because that's something that you can do tactily. And so some blind people are allowed to go into massage as a career. Is some of it legitimate? Yeah. Is some of it, the creepy, sketchy massage parlors? Probably, unfortunately. I don't know too much more about that. But at least for those that can get legitimate jobs, it's a good thing. But that's really the place that my dad grew up in, and the culture that he grew up. And that wasn't even a thing when my dad lived there. Blind people certainly didn't have the opportunity to go into massage. That's only a very, very recent thing. And so they really weren't seen as people in his culture that were capable of having careers. And so he really didn't know much about visual impairments, but he still never once thought, oh, she's not going to be able to do something. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful that he taught me, how to work hard, right? That's important. My parents taught me a lot of good things, and I always, the things were not perfect, in our household at all. Definitely not perfect. But nonetheless, I know that my dad absolutely did his best. I know that he tried hard. I know to this day he loves his family very, very much. He's very loyal to his family, to my mom, to my sister and I. That's important to him. He likes to still take care of us, even at 88. He loves to take care of us. And so he'll still come up here to visit me, and he'll bring me food, especially because he knows I don't drive and I don't get to go to the store very often, and I live miles from bus stops in town, so I don't get to go to the store very often. And so he feels like that's his job still, even at his age, to bring me food. So it's very cute and it's very sweet, and I'm very, very grateful for it. I'll always be grateful for it, and I also know that it's not going to be there forever, right? At 88, my dad's not going to be bringing me food forever, and so I'm going to consider myself, blessed, right? Because I'm 47, and my dad still wants to buy me some food and take care of me and look after me, and that's he still wants to look after me, and the only and one of the only ways that he knows how to do. And so that, I think that's very sweet. I think it's very thoughtful, and I just feel blessed. I do. So anyways, that was just kind of what was on my mind this weekend, right? With Father's Day, it was on my mind about, I like to, even though I don't get to spend the time with my dad, I still, I still reflect on what he's given me. That he wasn't afraid to discipline us at all, wasn't afraid to correct us, wasn't afraid at all to make sure that he had high standards for us, very, very high standards. And maybe sometimes they were too strict, maybe sometimes they went too far with that kind of stuff, maybe their standards were a little bit too high, but at the same time, I went to 10 years of college and got a doctorate degree, and if my parents hadn't had high expectations and high standards, well, maybe that wouldn't have happened, right? So it's hard to say. We don't know, what other paths we would have taken in life, and so it makes me grateful, just to have the good things that my parents gave me, so that and to know, because I was raised by him, to know that I had many, many opportunities, even though we were struggling to be middle class, right? He still wanted to make sure that we had opportunities. He wanted us to know that we had opportunities, and we took advantage of our opportunities here in America. So, he knows. I was raised with a man who knows how blessed I am to be born in America. He just does. He still says that. He's been here. My dad's been here he's been in Canada since he was like 13. And then he came here when he married my mom. I think he was, oh gosh, I want to say 36, but, I'm not mathing. Well, let's see. How I want to say, I think he was 36. I'm not mathing very good right now, but I think he was 36 when he married my mom. So that's when he came here to the U.S., right, to live. And so he's been here since he was 36 at 89. So what is that, 53 years? And he still says, God bless America, because he can't believe how blessed we are. He can't believe how much we have, how much privilege we have. It's very cute. It's very sweet. And that's a blessing to me. So anyways, that's what's on my mind. Dads are on my mind. I just did, these are some big rounds on this little baby dress. My goodness, I just got through the one round. But I think I'm going to keep this video short, right, for the week, because my last WIP Wednesday video was really long. I was just knitting away, right? And I could do that. I could just sit here and go round and round and round and knit some more rounds with you. But, I know some of y'all got better things to do in this life. I don't want to talk too much at all, because I could definitely do that. I'm sure if you're on my channel, you know that, right? I could just keep talking and talking. So I won't do that to y'all this week. I won't. I'll keep it shorter. So here we go. I just did the one round. You can see it. You can see the colors. You can see the patterning on this yarn. This is a good project for me to do on WIP Wednesdays with y'all, right? I can sit here and just knit, just knit around, and mindless. This is just stockinette stitch right now in the round. So it's just knit, right? Just knit and knit and knit. And so it's a good WIP Wednesday project because I don't have to pay attention. I don't have to count anything like cables and lace. Like I do cables and lace, but I have to count that stuff out. Not and then it's harder for me to talk to y'all. And I'm not as good at crocheting. I'm gonna be the first person to admit that I am not as good at crochet, and so um it's harder for me to crochet. I have crocheted on here before in a few WIP Wednesday videos, maybe only one, I don't know. I have done it, but it's definitely harder for me because I have to do a lot more counting, right? When I crochet, it's harder for me to keep track of what I'm doing because I'm so much newer to it too. I've been knitting for 16 years, crocheting for less than a year, and so you know, I still have to focus more on crochet right now. And so I don't crochet as much on camera as I'd like because you don't want to be here and just listen to me count, right? That wouldn't be very fun for you. And listen to me have to go back every round and recount my stitches over and over. That's kind of boring, right? So we're not going to do a lot of crocheting. We might find some projects that I can crochet on camera where I can just crochet and not have to count everything. But this is the little child's dress so far. Yeah, I will turn on the light if you stay till the end of my videos. I will turn on the light at the end. I will let you see it, see what the colors look like. Hey, if you can see what colors this is, go ahead and tell me what colors I'm working with. I'd appreciate that. All right, let me put this on pause. Okay, here is the project so far, right? This is the little top of the dress. This is the Dottie and the strawberry fields. Let me know if you see pink or green or yellow, or if you see other colors that the AI isn't telling me. All right, well, thanks for listening, and until next time, you know what I like to close with. Creativity is for everybody, whether you see or you see like me, which is not in color, not in the day, not so much, or you don't see at all. Creativity is for you. And whether it's knitting or crocheting or sewing or quilting or beading or sculpting or painting or whatever it is that you do, today is a great day to craft and create. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.